Now the 6 o'clock meeting to order. Roll call, Judd Lofshay.
Juan Cifuentes.
Brian Moreno.
Andy Allen.
Bob Helgerson.
No public comments, we said, Kim. Okay, informational items.
Facility assessment update. So we've kicked this around a few times and we bring it back to you today. We did get 3 competitive quotes and RFPs, for lack of a better word. We had Corder & Clark, DLA Associates, and Green Associates. They came back in a lot of different ranges. We still think Corder & Clark is the best path forward for cost, availability, and they currently know our buildings the best. So looking to potentially drop this for motion tonight at regular board meeting to move forward and get this going over the summer while we have more access to the buildings and don't have to work around students and staff.
Yeah. So you and I talked about it, but the one that was triple the amount, it was
Green
apples and
Associates.
apples, or?
It's apples to apples. It sounds like they could be more comprehensive, but they also look a lot about classroom usages and different things like that too that are add-ons, which we're not really interested in that piece of it now. They're also an unfamiliar entity with us. We have not worked with them before.
Yeah.
And there'd be that transfer of knowledge piece that we'd have to work through. It's not that they could be a great organization. I just don't think it's the best fit for the timeline we're looking for in addition to that.
So you guys on the committee were good with Cordigan tonight? We're going to vote on it? You said it's an action item tonight?
It is an action item tonight.
All right. Juan, you're good?
I am good. I mean, we've
Got
gone
3?
back and forth on this one, and I think with
3 bids, right?
we going out to bid and they're still the lowest bidder, I think we're
Yeah.
okay. We've done our due diligence on it, and I think we're good.
Brian, you good with it? Okay. All right. Let's go on next. Alternative transportation option.
Yes, and I'll bring Gladys DeLucio up here to talk a little bit more about what we're doing there, and she can fill in some details with it.
Hello, good evening. So to let you know, we already have a contract with an alternate provider, which is First Alt. It's under the umbrella with First Student that we brought to the board 2 years ago now. And that's been going great. However, they just can't fulfill the need that we have, right? They're currently transporting about between 140 and 150 students to and from school.
Every day?
Every day. Every day. And that can fluctuate because with McKinney-Vento, they're here today, they might be gone tomorrow.
Okay.
It just varies. And some of them have been with us several years. Some of them are local that fall between that 6-mile range. But then some of them are Chicago, some of them are DeKalb, Joliet, like it just depends where they live. We have some that even go all the way to Homewood. So it just depends where they're stationed, especially if it's like a DCFS case. We have no control over that. So unfortunately, they're not able to fulfill all of our needs. So we always have to revert back to our fallback, which right now is a taxi cab. And we want to get away from that, right? That's something that we've stressed. So we have another company that wants to come in and kind of fill in the gaps where needed. So they're looking for a 1-year contract trial basis. There is no minimum with how many trips they have to do. Their turnaround time is exactly what we have now. Their equipment is exactly what we have now. Again, they prep their drivers just like they were bus drivers. So it's very confident with what they can do. And that's primarily their only goal, right, is to transport students. Where a taxi cab company might take a airfare, airport drive. So you kind of have that lag time with them getting back on time. So just kind of facilitates things for us with having options.
So is it a van they go in or what are they going?
Yep, it'll be a van or a vehicle. It could be a sedan, it could be a minivan. So it's really personalized vehicles that are contracted in. But again, their staff has to go through the same rigorous background checks of a bus driver. They have to go through school bus training without, actually having to train on a bus. But they have to have that school bus endorsement.
So they're matching the rate, you said?
Yes. So they're actually come a little bit cheaper than what we currently have now. But again, there's no minimums, right? As long as if we meet a threshold with them of over 60 students, then their rate even comes down a little bit further.
Okay.
So it just gives us a trial basis because when the next contract is due, which will be in 3 years, actually 2 years now, then we'll see if that's who we want to go with or who we want to give our business to.
Okay.
Where's the company out of, or what's?
They're called Everdriven. They are here locally. They do some work now for Plainfield, West Chicago, Indian Prairie. So they are local and all of their drivers are local.
And you vetted them? You talked to at least one of these other school districts?
Yeah, so I did talk to West Chicago,
Okay.
as well as Plainfield.
Okay.
And I mean, do they have day-to-day deficiencies with timing? Yes, but we have that even with buses, right? It's just weather, traffic,
Yeah.
the pattern, it just depends. But for the most part, they're very happy with their services. And their numbers are just not as high as ours right now, so.
Okay.
I would be remiss, since you're standing there, to not ask you if there's any possibility that some of these transports could be electric. Or West Aurora has 27 electric buses. Now, I know that's a whole different, do they own their buses?
They do.
Yes.
Okay.
They do. And that's where the best, difference is between
Right.
West Aurora and us. And that's something that I've even talked to Brandy Cackard, who is their director over there. We meet
Yeah.
every month with all the area directors, and we're all amazed about what they have done at their district. But even all surrounding districts, we just don't have the infrastructure to do it. And we're kind of waiting for her to do the test pilot and make sure
Yeah.
everything goes well to see if it's something that other districts, including ours, want to explore.
Well, if there's anything without stepping over a line, you could ask this new company if they happen to have any,
Electric vehicles?
I mean, right? I mean,
Yeah.
we're giving them a big contract, right? Just a thought.
I think it wouldn't hurt to ask for electric or hybrid and see what they have.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I could definitely make note of that and ask.
cool.
Yeah.
All right, everybody's good with it?
Yeah, we're just looking for consensus, just so you're aware that we're
Yeah.
going to move forward with them as a
Okay.
test run and start sending them some business to make sure that we vet
Oh.
them fully before we ever come back to the bid or RFP process.
Okay, before the school districts, this year's out, or like right
This
now?
year's out. Well,
Oh,
this
yeah,
is
it's
probably
already
for
out.
next year. We even have kids this right now coming in and out. So we Gladys will be arranging
Few
that.
Students for summer school.
Okay,
I think we have maybe about 10 that are going to be transporting in.
good.
We will always try to put them on a school bus first, right? That's our ultimate goal, is that they get to
Yeah.
ride with their peers. But if they fall out of that jurisdiction, then we have options.
All right, we're good. Thank you.
Excellent, thanks.
Thank you, Gladys.
Fred Rogers facade update?
Yeah, so the emergency repairs of Fred Rogers is completed. So it went very well. It looks very good. Work was done pretty much on time. Took them about a month to get it all taken care of. They are prepping now for the summer work. There's dumpsters there I saw today.
Mhm.
They'll be starting here very soon to bring down the smokestack down to the building roof level to make it safer for all, both the neighbor and ourselves. Just since we're on summer projects, the high school's already started. I know AJ, the B&G team, the Costello team has spent a lot of time on Friday and a lot of time on Saturday and still going today. And we're getting close to everything cleared out, but they've got ceilings down in places and all kinds of stuff.
So that's HVAC, right?
That's HVAC. It's gonna be right down to the wire. There's a lot of work there, a lot of work to be completed. It's definitely a construction zone. It'll keep going.
Okay.
So overall, everything's going pretty well. We did find out late today, we had a small hiccup that wasn't planned for with the asphalt removal at Hill Avenue. Preliminary tests, they came out to do some tests. They found some contaminants in the asphalt or soil there, which we did not expect. So we're waiting to hear more information back from Gordon Clark on potential costs. I will bring that back to you as soon as I know. I'm sure it's above the contingency we have for the project. So we'll see what options we have there to either continue, or there's possibly we may have to shelve that project because of it right now. But it would be something that if we ever want to do work back there, we're going to have to take care of. So we'll see what our options are coming.
Where is that, Andy? Where is it?
Buildings and Grounds, Hill Avenue,
No,
411
Hill Avenue. Oh, got
the
it.
old career center.
So it's in the parking lot.
It's in the back parking lot. Now, we haven't had any tanks, to my knowledge, back there ever, fuel
Okay.
tanks or anything like that. Oh, that's probably what.
Well,
it
was there a tank, underground tank ever? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. There might have been, yeah.
So there could be anything, but it might have been gravel lot back there that they paved over at one time.
Okay.
Who really knows?
All right.
We don't dump anything. We don't have any tanks back there. The only thing we have is the salt shed for the most part on our part.
Okay.
And then just some scrap metal usually that goes in and out pretty regularly. We don't do a lot of work there in that regard. So a little bit more investigation is warranted, and then we'll come back with potential alternatives and bring to the committee to decide what we do at that point.
I know when I was on city council, this is the time they bought salt in the summer because it's cheaper. Is that?
We don't have a place to store it.
Oh,
It's full,
okay.
real
Okay. All right.
full.
Fair enough. Scoreboard?
Yes, EHA scoreboard update, the advertising sales update. So we've met with a couple vendors that do help with sales for advertising scoreboards. We don't really like their options of what they're doing. They want to take about 50% of whatever they can raise, help you raise. So we're working with the scoreboard company that's putting it in because he's done a lot of these and knows this. And West Aurora does their own program right now on their own and doesn't use a program. We're also being linked up with what we hear is DeKalb. Noel DeLamar is working with me. We're doing this together. He's going to kind of run the program, but we're trying to get information from DeKalb School District because they got a really robust program for selling advertising and pieces like that. So more information to come, but just so you know, we're actively working on it. We're looking forward to getting space up for sale, work with the foundation to help us advertise that information and get going on it. I'd like to see the scoreboard in place fully before we do it, but they're breaking ground on July 6th to start putting the structural steel in and pieces like that and the tunneling and cabling. And then the scoreboard should be arriving at the end of July and start at the very beginning of August going up. So we should be on time as it stands right now. We don't have to. You would do it if you wanted to lessen. You do it to lessen the burden on yourself of having to do some of the sales and design. There are some design things. We'd have to probably lean on Carlos, our web designer and graphic designer, to maybe use some logos and stuff to do some advertisement pieces. Yeah. But once they're done, you can keep reusing those pieces. So we look forward to finding more information, look forward to learning a lot about what DeKalb's doing too. So we can try to push a couple things together and make the EA way of how we do it. And then I just look forward to potentially bringing that indoors eventually too, with some additional signage and advertising for basketball and volleyball and other seasons there. So we're going to try to see what we can develop over time.
All right.
No, I would just reiterate what Andy was saying there. I think we have enough capacity within our organization, enough connections throughout our community to be able to bring in local businesses that want to advertise and see the return on their investment. So I think that 50% threshold that organizations charge to do, that's way too much. So
is it digital? The ads are digital, or it's going to be like a banner?
We're looking at a combination. So if you've ever been to athletic fields, they have windscreens that have advertising on them and things like that. So we're looking at a combination of those and digital advertising on the scoreboard. So for example, if our old scoreboard is coming down, the back of it's a great thing that you might be able to put some advertising in a large area in like 4 different blocks of 4 different sponsors on the back of it and a windscreen that's there just as advertising out to the street, let alone the scoreboard and the front of the scoreboard and pieces like that.
So it's going to
advertise off that.
It's going to be facing.
It's scoreboard will be facing. It'll be on the south end of the stadium near the concession stands.
So then nobody's going to really see it driving
by. The
by.
north end still has the old steel structure we're not taking down.
Okay.
So most of the advertising will be advertising to the fans and the people there in the public, not to the outside. Okay. But all the electrical and all the other pieces will be kept on the old scoreboard. The old scoreboard is just coming down. So we do have the ability to future expand. If we can do digital advertising, things like that there, that'd be a future, that'd be a cost to us to do, but it could be a future expansion of the program.
Yeah.
Do we know what it's going to cost to advertise on those?
Oh, we're not quite sure. I wish Noel was here. He did have some information, but I don't know exactly what it is. And a lot of it's based on, we could do season, could do semester, could do whole year. Could be ways to bring it both outside at the outdoor stadium and inside to the basketball. There's lots of different combinations we can look at.
All right.
So
food pantry elevator update.
Before we go on to that, I know that at the last board meeting we had, there was a student who was mentioning something about the scoreboards or the something at the high school. Something is out.
That's something about the scoreboard. I don't know what it was. I'm assuming it was the stadium scoreboard. The others work on.
But he mentioned something inside the gym. So I just wanted to make sure, only because that was something that
the side screens don't work.
it's
the main main screen of the main board in the high school gym works. It's getting a little rough and hard to maintain. It's original, and it was the first one with one of those big like Madison Square Garden square side ones.
Yeah.
It's not centered in the court, so we can't play volleyball underneath it either.
So, I mean, this came from a student where we gave an award out to Special Olympics.
Yep.
Right.
You know what?
Now, this is something that they care about, that he brought up. So it's something that we should probably look at.
Mr. Allen, you know what I think it is? I didn't mean to cut you off, Board President, but I think it's a side scoreboard. So when you off in the corners there, normally you'd have the running list of fouls, points scored, things like that. And those haven't been working for years. So that is something I think we need to investigate. It's a 2-corner one. So if you think where the visitors benches back in that corner, and then the far side kind of diagonal from that, it's those 2 that aren't working. I think that's what Dakota was talking about when he came.
They were bought, I believe, in 2006 or 4. the controls don't work for them and they cannot really be
Retro.
What was the last time
made to, I can't tell you that. I don't know.
the last time it was a-
I know that previous AD before the last one, before Nolan, before Rebecca Carr, tried to figure out how to get them work. We contacted another company and they were not really salvageable. Now I will say the main scoreboard's showing its age too. I wouldn't think it's best practice to invest in the small scoreboard on the side because most of that can be done digitally if you replace the main one.
The main, yeah.
So I don't think it'd be the best spin on it, but I understand the sentiment of what you want, what's looking there, but I don't know if it'd be your best spend right now. There's a lot of things.
Definitely.
Understood.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, let's move on to the elevator at East. Aurora.
Yeah, food pantry, Evelyn. Thank you. You brought up last meeting to take a look at it. We did have it inspected. AJ and the team got a total elevator who is our main contractor for all our service. What the elevators, they did a complete inspection again, pressure tested it, load tested it. It tests out exactly how it's supposed to. They did find that some of the door apparatus are damaged and bent a little bit. So we're doing, it's a little over $10,000. We've got the order in right now to get the repairs coming here soon. They say that's going to take care of the problem. So if it does, that's great. And we got a working machine. We'll have to do a little probably training or education hour about how not to close the elevator on a pallet or not overload it or pallet jack. So
Overloaded, that's probably it.
yeah, because most of them are rated about 2,500 pounds to 3,500 pounds unless they're a freight elevator, and then they can go a little heavier. But that takes I don't know what ours is really rated at offhand.
So I was there when that guy got stuck in the elevator for a couple hours, and it wasn't. But maybe we could see what those pallets weigh, because maybe, like you said, the training. Because I mentioned that, and they said no, it's not that. But and then does somebody have a key? Because I know he was in there for a couple hours because nobody could come with a key or something. Somebody like the food pantry should have a key to that, right?
Well, you have to be very careful. To use the key, you need to probably, in best case, lock out the elevator, because if it does trigger and come through, elevator goes up, the door's out, and if you're in between, it's a bad situation. So they usually have to lock it out. So the fire department usually locks it out, or the elevator company locks it out to then use the key to get the person out for safety reasons.
And that's per OSHA guidelines. We have to
Well,
do
I
the
don't know if
lockout. No, I know
Yeah.
lockout, tag out. You have to do per OSHA guidelines. Otherwise, you cannot move an elevator like that because it can be very dangerous at that point.
So that we can't give the food pantry a key?
No, because to Andy's point, they would have to be trained on how to lock it out and tag it out. And we don't even do that ourselves. That's mainly the fire department or the elevator company that comes to do that.
So our engineers couldn't.
I'm sure they could. I hope it's done correctly.
Yeah.
It is a burden. If it wasn't, it could be. I know they're smart enough to do it. I know they can be trained to do it. I just don't. And then we'd have to put a key probably within like a break glass piece there, and you have a funny feeling we'll be looking for it.
It happened so many times, but hopefully this fix will do it, or
I haven't heard of anything recently, but the repairs haven't been done yet either. So
all right.
the parts have just been ordered, and it usually takes probably by the end of June. The repairs will probably be done by the end of June, hopefully. So, but it's progress. That's what we want.
Thanks for checking into that.
Sure.
East Aurora High School Freshman Center roof drains.
Yep, that's just further update. That was another emergency repair because of leakage. We did finally get a contractor to come look at them. They'll be starting there soon with the roof project of East High, and we've gone with that same contractor. So they'll have equipment on site to look at that and take care of that. We're curious to find if there's any other damage underneath what was happening.
Yep.
If there is other existing stuff we have to look at, I'll bring it back to you guys before we move forward.
All right. City of Aurora water testing.
Yes. So City of Water notified us a couple weeks ago. They wanted to test water in about 8 of our buildings, I believe. Come to find out, we had no notification or anything like that. They just started showing up with bottles to test our water. I guess there's some federal act where they have to test schools. So over the next couple of years, 2 to 3 years, all our schools get tested by them. They're supposed to give us the results of the tests. If you remember back to, I think, October-ish, we talked about water testing and future stuff here in the district. You want me to move forward with that? So they're testing about 3 places. I believe they said at least 1 drinking fountain, a kitchen sink, and maybe a bathroom sink. It's very sparse testing.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you want me moving forward to use the City of Aurora's tests going forward over the next couple of years, or you want to use our environmental company, TEM, to come in and test 5 buildings like we had planned. We're going to do it early fall this year. So I'm just looking for a little guidance there, and how would you like me to move forward? Obviously, if we bring TEM in, there is a cost, but they'll be probably a little bit more thorough and go through a more thorough process with it.
I mean, if the city's going to do it for free, but they're only doing 8 of our 20 some buildings.
They do so many per year over the next couple of years. They have like a guidelines, they have to have it done by a certain time period. And I believe this goes back to, you've heard of the service lines they're pulling out here and there.
The lead.
Most of our service lines have been replaced. We don't really, in the testing we've had in the past, don't have lead in the water. But that, I mean, a way to know for sure going forward is to test again.
I mean, I would be more comfortable if we have the company that comes out to do a more thorough test. Only because my kids, you know, I know that they take their water bottle, but I don't know if they fill it up. with-
And the bottle filters have filters on them too that filter out all
Oh,
that
okay.
stuff too. So just so you know.
Volunteer to do all skills? I'm sure they would.
Oh,
I don't
they
think that would be an
they
issue.
they
No?
they came in and were having us fill the bottles. So it's just
So we got any test results back yet?
no,
or-
I have not gotten. It's 2 weeks old, maybe 3 at the most. I think they popped in it even here. They popped into here and Bardwell and Allen and Brady, I think. And those are schools I remember off the top of my head.
I would just say with the level of testing that's being required by the federal guidelines there that the city's having to do, I'd feel more comfortable if we kept with the more expansive testing that we're doing as a district for the safety of our students. And I know there's a cost associated with it, but it's a nominal cost for the safety of students, in my opinion.
Okay.
And TEM does a good job of documenting things. They do a lot of our abatement things. So they know what rooms, what fountains, all that things have been hit. So if they come back again to test, they'll test other ones throughout the process. So it's also another way to look at it. They have a good documentation process with it.
So we don't have to go to an RFP or?
No,
that stuff?
No, they're our current environmental contractor we use now.
Okay.
They just call them out and.
Yeah, they've reached out and we talked a couple weeks ago also about it. I made mention to it and there's like, well, just let us know what you want to do. We want to come in. They want to come in September. They want, when the buildings come back open and kids, everyone starts using them, test them right away in September-ish and then get the results back to us after that.
Does that make sense? Because I mean, I guess you don't want them sitting all summer and do it in August.
Yeah, it was either to do it right at the end of the year where we just said it's going to be hard to squeeze in with everything else we're doing right now. So we're come back in September and try it then. So I anticipate we're gonna have good results regardless.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't anticipate anything bad based on our past testing. So, and
Well,
I know Tim, who's out there in the crowd, our plumber, licensed plumber on file, he's been doing lots of repairs, replacements over the years. So a lot of these things are coming in new, like drinking fountains and things like that he's been doing. So
I guess if the city of Aurora tests, which hopefully we get sooner than later, are okay, then we don't have to worry about it. If they come out bad or something, then maybe we should push
we
it
come
up.
about it warrant further investigation.
Yeah.
I'd want to retest at that point and see
Yeah.
which points they went to. But yes, good point.
But like
All right.
Dr. Halverson was saying, it's better we just test everything with the company we have, right? Just so we can have that
Yeah.
record, right?
Yeah.
Nowadays, you have to have everything on record. you
Yeah.
know, just in
I would
case
yeah, and I would say
something
if some
to a
Yeah.
more safer route, you know?
Yeah, I
something
think,
came back sooner than
Yeah,
I think we'd
I
step
think-
up our timeline for
Correct.
testing at that point. 100% agree. Yeah, just out of abundance of safety for our students.
all right, COMEX, M.
ComEd MBCX update. So back in, I want to say October, Dr. Mike Engel and I came to you with a ComEd proposal and with Train. Train is like the project manager of the project. What they do is Train analyzes all our data with our big chillers and HVAC and pieces like that. And they make suggestions on improvements to hopefully not only save you electricity, which allocates the money, but also run times on equipment and pieces like that, things we might have overlooked or didn't set right. Then the duty cycle of the equipment becomes less because it's not running as often. So the results we have back basically state, and I only have 2 buildings at this time, are Oak Park and Dietrich. They have certain settings and pieces they want to go put in place and they'll do the work. There is a fee, although it's nominal for the most part, but the recuperation time on that fee is about 6 to 8 months. So for $7,000 spent for their work and tuning of the system, you recoup that money in about 6 to 8 months for those 2 buildings. What I'd like to do is I've already talked to our maintenance mechanic that does a lot of the HVAC, who is retiring right now, but I got a good impact or feedback from him. Just as I want an extra set of eyes because this is what he does. It's not my job every day, or at all for that matter. I'm the mouthpiece up here, but I want to take about 6 schools and try this out and then look at the ComEd spend and see if there's a cost savings over that time. See if we can recoup that cost going forward. And if it works, then we can push it out to other schools. But I'd like to do a limited trial basis of about 6 schools based on what they keep coming back to me with.
So this is kind of a dumb question, but I suppose electric is air conditioning. Are all our schools boiler? Or do we have furnace?
They're boiler, they're natural gas. They're still running electric pumps
Okay.
and all that piece too. There is also electrical from blower fans to other things like that. So every univent for that or building classroom heater has a fan in it blowing either hot air or cold air that's going through the system from the chiller or the boilers through that system.
So these two you're going to do right now, Oak Park and Dietrich, they're going to go right now?
So if you're giving me a consensus, I will move forward with speaking with them about moving forward with that.
7,000 per building?
One, I think one is 6 and one is 8. I might have the documentation.
Let's see.
Let's see if I can find it.
And if it's a 6-month payback, that's pretty good.
Yeah. Okay, Oak Park is 7,840. Dietrich is 8,820. Oak Park is a little over 7-month payback, and Dietrich is a 9-month payback. And there's an incentive from ComEd kicked in there as part of that payback for reducing your electrical usage.
So we're going to be able to monitor it to see if it really does that payback? How are you going to
The
figure that
best
out?
way for me to monitor it is by the billing cycles. And yes, I do. I'm working on a piece with that to be able to monitor. We do have ComEd still as our distribution piece. It will always have that bill. Our supplier is going to change based on the recent pieces that Dr. Engel brought back. I think it still might be Smartest Energy. Yeah, right now it's still Smartest Energy, but we buy the supply from one side and we have the distribution from the other. So I need to combine those together into a piece to overall to see how we're doing. And then I can try to compare it a little bit to last year's bills.
Yep.
Remember, it's not going to be perfect either because every year you have more warm days
Yep.
and cold days and all how that works. So
Everybody supportive for this? Brian? Yeah. Okay.
all right, thank you. Then we'll start that process, and then as the others come in, we'll do some consultations and see what we can do there.
See how it works. Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
And I'll probably try to report back maybe towards September, October, see if we're starting to see signs of that working. Even though the payback is a little bit longer, we should be able to see signs by their track record.
Okay.
So,
Committee meeting dates? The only one that I saw was problematic is January 4th, 2027. So I guess the January 1st is a Friday. We get to school, that's closed anyway, right?
The 4th is the first day back for staff
It
and
is.
students. Yeah, the 4th is the first day back. And then
Okay.
the second board meeting in January and the second board meeting in February, those don't affect this, but those will actually be on a Tuesday because we had Martin Luther King Day and then President's Day as well on there.
But for January 4th, if everybody's on vacation the week before, it's Christmas break, are we going to have the agenda and all that? Is someone going to be willing to do that?
We should probably,
Push it to January 11th?
would be,
I'm just asking.
We have traditionally, we've either pushed it to January 11th or we've canceled that one in January, depending on what the need is at that point in time. So we could always monitor as we get closer. And if we want to
Yeah.
make a decision like the end of November, what we want to do with that January board meeting, if the board's on board with that.
yeah,
That's fine with me.
Yeah.
Okay. July 6th is a Monday. That's not problematic. Okay.
Mr. Lafayette, the only other one is the, if you look at the August board meetings there, instead of it being the first board meeting, the first Monday of the month, it'll be the second and fourth. So instead of the first and the third, and the reason we did that is Monday, August 17th is Red and Black Day. It's the first day back for staff.
Okay.
And that becomes a really long day. So we did the second and fourth meeting in August because we are lucky enough that there's 5 Mondays in August there.
And Tuesday, September 8th, because the first is probably Labor Day.
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
Yes. Yep.
All right, I'm good with this. Brian, you're good? Okay. Resolution for the disposal of personal property.
this is just some other items. And then also on there is East High School has a donation of yearbooks they're making to the Aurora Public Library. They're extra ones that we've had for a long time because they're starting their own collection for yearbooks that people can check out and look through at the library system. So it's a good place, a good home for them to go for the public to see and use.
The only other thing I would note there is we have to be disposed of for year 2019 48 and for year 2021 42. We will make sure that we make those available for graduates of those years first before we dispose of them, because I know I had a board member send me an email earlier today about that. I think that's a great suggestion.
Yeah.
So we'll make sure we keep those available to see if anybody wants them before we were actually going to formally dispose of those.
How do you get the word out to the older,
I think we can probably use some of our social media
Social media,
content to get on
okay.
there. 2019, 2021, I think we got enough people that'll be looking on there. If it was my year of graduation, they might not look as much, but
okay.
we can get that out there.
All right, work order summary.
We're doing a good job of that. Work orders were a little bit down just in May, just because things are closing out. I think part of the reason I think we've seen this year over year, teachers and some people stop putting them in to toward the end of the year too.
Mhm.
But with that being said, it's a lot of our maintenance team to start working on some of their other things that have kind of been on hold in other projects. And the team is really organized right now, and we're doing a lot of internal work with the team this year, from flooring to kind of managing our own project at the high school of building out a room. A lot of things going on, a lot of planning. They're doing a great job.
Did you hire another guy? What are we trying, or woman? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Okay, cool. Well,
they're kind of slowing down because of the influx of flu and everything happening. So their numbers are a little bit down, but 84% is a phenomenal operating percentage for.
amen. That's great. Awesome. All right. Anything else to come before the committee? All right, let's adjourn at 6:33 then.
Sounds good. Thank you, sir.